Hey, Techno team. So we're going to do a preliminary or an introduction video that's going to take us to the predictions page. Now, if you've watched the site videos or specifically been to the predictions page and looked at the video that explains how to use it, this is not the page a new user to the Health Reconnected website is going to use. We need users to have a basic understanding of how space and time works, and as well as how our technology organizes all of the cycles of space and time and how they can use that to their immediate advantage. So let's go ahead and navigate to this page. And this is all about whole base choice. Now, remember, Brahma is all about the whole or the creation. So whole base choice is about honoring Brahma's creation. I'm just trying to connect this to the Hindu Trinity like we were doing in that first video. Now, the reason why I wanted to break it down and show you what the macro pattern is because we're showing the mental macro is a 1 year cycle. And now you know that a 1 year cycle is just half of the macro cycle. You see, it takes 2 years to complete a mental macro, and odd years are connected to the masculine, and even years are connected to the feminine. So we are in an odd year, 2025. So we are creating the half of the awareness, the mental awareness that would be the masculine side of this. And this awareness, the macro objective is at the 2-5. So it's at the second dimension, the second circular dimension, and that dimension relates to this shape right here, the octahedron. The octahedron has a positive and negative side, okay? And think of the positive and negative as two ways to look at the same shape. One way is to look at it at the first person, that's the daughter's perspective. The other way is to look at it from the family perspective, okay? So it's the same shape, and we're just looking at it from different poles. Now, the daughter is all about this maturing feminine energy, figuring out how to start group relationships. Well, guess what? That's what we're doing right now is we're figuring out how to start this group relationship where I'm walking you step by step how the website works, and we're starting to get a feel from each other, and we're starting to try to come together as a cohesive group. And it's going to take us a little time. So that would be a very good explanation of what the starting feminine energy is. Now, you can see that I have the plutonic solids up here, and then it's color coded. It says exactly what they are. So if this was a year where it was the cube that was in control, we would be wanting to figure out how to start individual relationships. You see, masculine energy is about starting individual relationships, and then refined masculine energy, which is this dodecahedron, is about optimizing individual relationships. The feminine side is about starting group relationships. So that would be maturing feminine energy. And then when we get to the highest feminine energy, that is how to optimize group relationships. Now, after we do this for a while and we become proficient as a group, we're going to start to reach levels of optimization, and that would be refining our feminine energy. Now, I'm taking time to explain this because feminine and masculine energy is super important. And whether you're male or female, you are expected in this space time construct to develop both feminine and masculine energy. And it's just how developed are you in having individual relationships, and how developed are you in having group relationships, and then figuring out how to optimize those relationships once you've started them. Now, for this entire year, so for the year 2025, this is the quadrant that's going to be affected if you're not doing a very good job of starting and group relationships. So what does that mean? So are you doing better within your own family structure? Are you doing better within your own community structure? That's what this feminine energy is. And if you're not very good in groups, then you're going to suffer in this upper right quadrant of the body. Now, down here in the third person objective, it's showing you exactly for 2025 what we should be trying to develop in this group energy or this starting feminine energy, and it's to unite family and world perspectives. Now, obviously, when you look around the world, we do not have united world perspectives. All of our families and all of our cultures are living differently, and they are arguing and fighting over those differences. The more you want to argue and fight, the more you're going to realize that the right lower quadrant of your body is going to be negatively affected. It's going to have diseases, it's going to have different aches and pains, it's going to develop all kinds of dysfunctions. And in addition, these are also going to start to mess with your experiences. Now, if you're out of balance with this mental macro frequency, you can expect that when year 2025 started, all of a sudden you're going to start to notice something going on in your right upper quadrant or your right lower quadrant. And it's going to go on for a long duration of time, not just a day or two. This is going to be an ongoing issue all year long. And these are the objectives that if you're out of balance with them, the more out of balance you are, the more you're going to feel it in the right upper and right lower quadrants of the body. All right, so let's keep moving here. So this is the micro mental. This is a 7.5 day cycle, and it's even telling you what hand of the clock it is. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that later, but right now I'm just connecting this to the body. And as these cycles transition, you're going to notice that different parts of your body are going to feel differently depending on how well you're doing and how well you are aligning with what these cycles are asking you to develop, either masculine again or feminine energy, becoming better in individual and group relationship, and then organizing to create peace and balance within our communities and our shared environment. All right, so this mental micro is going to start or started on Friday, June 13th. So I traveled this weekend and I traveled on Friday. So this was actually changing out on Friday, and this awareness is going to be in effect until we get to the summer solstice. That's Saturday, June 21st, 2:42, and UTC time is obviously universal time. So for Indian time to make the conversion, you'd add 5.5 hours to this. For Eastern time, which is me, I would subtract 4 hours from this, and that tells you when the start and the end times are going to be. Now, when I was in healthcare, I would notice that my clients would come in and they would have, for example, right lower quadrant pain, and it would last for about a week, and we'd give them treatments, and all of a sudden it would get a whole lot better. It got better because at the end of this cycle, so when we hit the summer solstice, we're going to move into a new cycle, and that cycle is going to test a different part of the body. So what I was treating is I was treating people's dysfunction that was related to them not being in balance with these cycles of time. Now, you can see down here that the upper left quadrant. So, for any of the people that are watching this right now, starting Friday, June 13th, if you started to notice increased right lower pain, or you started to notice increased left upper quadrant pain in your body, it is telling you the specific objectives that are out of balance and where you need to start to develop a better refinement or a better understanding of both masculine and feminine energy and how to use them in ongoing relationships. And again, this spells it out. Now, that's not what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to get more into that in the next video. Right now, I want you to be able to come to this page and go, oh, on Friday, June 13th, this part of my body's being tested by this 7.5 day cycle. This part of my body's being tested by this 7.5 day cycle. And if something hurts, I want to know about it. And if it hurts, then I can come here and say, okay, I guess I'm not doing that. I'm not really thinking about national or world perspectives, and I'm not trying to do anything that makes it equal for all individuals that exist in this reality. I've kind of been stuck in my own little world here, worried about my own problems, and now I see why I'm having these negative effects. I need to broaden or expand my way of thinking. That's how you would use these charts, okay? So let's keep moving here. So the emotional macro, this is a 6.5 day cycle. And this one started on June 14th, and it's going to end on that 21st. So this is the summer solstice. So I'm gonna kind of connect the dots here. So you see these three little stars here? This means that at this time, the mental, the emotional, and the physical rhythms are all going to resynchronize. So this is the idea of Brahma and Shiva and Vishnu all resetting these cycles, and it always happens on either the equinoxes or the solstices. So past civilizations that really made a big stink about the importance of the equinox and solstices, this is why, because these three patterns synchronize on those dates. And then they start up on a new season, and then they resynchronize when we get to the next season. That's how that works. Okay, so the emotional macro, I was traveling this weekend and my brother-in-law was with, and lo and behold, on June 14th, or the next day, which is the 15th, he started to really notice left lower quadrant pain, and the entire time we were there it was hurting, and it's still hurting now. What does that mean? It means that he's out of balance with these frequencies. It means that he is not understanding what he is supposed to be doing, which is starting to develop maturing feminine energy. Now, if you think about males, they're at a disadvantage. Males are going to be better at individual relationships because of testosterone and because of the way that we think, and females are going to be a little bit better at group relations because of estrogen and the way they're designed to think. But remember, whether you're male or female, you're required to develop both. So males are going to have trouble with developing feminine energy, and females are going to have more trouble developing masculine energy. And this is why we'd want to work together in order to accomplish this. But what I'm showing you here is how easy it is to know when the start is going to happen of a cycle, when the end is going to happen of a cycle, and what parts of the body are going to be affected. Now, that's the three biggest awarenesses are the three biggest cycles of time or what's discussed here. And I show these because these are easy. Once you come in here, we don't really have to worry about anything changing until June 21st. And then when we get to June 21st of the summer solstice, you're going to see that this mental micro is going to change out, this emotional macro is going to change out, and there are going to be different parts of the body that are going to be affected at that time. So in this video, that's all we're covering, these big, strong frequencies. We're not going to get in to the physical macro yet. In the next video, I'm going to break down how to look at the physical macros, how to interpret these charts right here so you see what's coming, how to use the sequence charts, as well as how to look up exactly where we are in this. And you can see that there's another 4-day sequence that we have posted after this, and it shows all the start and end times for these 4-day sequences, okay? So that's what we're going to do in the next video, but that's a pretty good start here. Again, we're going to take this in baby steps. If there are any questions on this video specifically, please let me know. For the review though, if you've been having problems with upper right or lower right quadrant that's been going on for all of 2025, here's your issue. If you've recently noticed increased right lower quadrant pain or upper left quadrant pain, this is your issue. And if you've been noticing left lower quadrant pain, and then you can see there's a double up here. You see this one's affecting left upper quadrant, this one's affecting left upper quadrant. So this would be an area where we'd have to discern when it started, and when we're feeling it and experiencing it, we're going to get into that as well. But there will be overlaps within this pattern where you have to then understand, is it this one that's causing the issue or this one that's causing the issue? And we're going to get to that as well. Okay, that's a good start here. We'll talk to you soon. Wait till the next video comes. That should be either later today or possibly tomorrow. Thanks again for your time.